Hey guys, it's Akhtar Khan here from Reaching Excellence, and in this video I'm going to give you 4 practical tips on how to navigate lockdown 2.0, so stay tuned. Okay guys, so look, in this video I want to give you 4 practical tips, but I don't want to talk about the business aspects of things. I really want to talk about the mindset aspects of things as to how you can navigate lockdown 2.0, because we've just gone into lockdown 2.0. It's a very difficult time right now. We've had several months of this whole pandemic. We've had like the first lockdown, we've had the challenges of that, and we're now going back into this second lockdown. And I'm not sure that we're going to come out of this lockdown when they say we are in the beginning of December. It could go on for a lot longer. And the challenge that we've had is in the last week or so in my private members academy, the Reaching Excellence Academy, the community within there's been a lot of people who've gone through a lot of challenges, a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty. And I've had a lot of calls with people who've been struggling with this latest lockdown. So I wanted to give you guys some tips here as to how you can navigate that and how you can overcome a lot of those challenges. And the other thing I want to share with you is, like, look, it doesn't matter who you are, how experienced you're at. Everyone is, if you're a human being, you're going to go through stresses, right? It's inevitable. You're going to go through stresses. You're going to go through challenges. And what I want to do in this video is break down into some quite specific detail. I want to go and do a deep down into the psychology behind what happens and how you can navigate that. Because even on a personal level, the last couple of weeks, I've had some challenges on a personal level. I had a bit of a health scare. Started off with having some chronic back pain, then it turned into chest pain, then a bit of shortness of breath. Went into hospital and got checked out. They couldn't find out what was wrong with me, and it panicked me because a couple of months ago my father passed away, and he had a heart condition for about 20 years, and he actually died of a heart attack. So the uncertainty during that time was incredibly stressful. So I wanted to put this video together just to show you how to navigate those stresses, how to navigate this uncertain time, so you can come out the other side and deal with those kind of rocky roads that we go through. So the couple of things I want to share with you before we get into this is, I've written a book called The Code of Reaching Excellence. I'll put a link or something around here so you can download a copy of that. And inside of that, I'll talk about a fundamental principle called bypassing your basic instincts. Now, the thing we've got to understand is this: we're all hardwired for survival. So there's a part of our brain called the amygdala. It's the part of the brain that's responsible for fight, flight, or freeze. And whenever we get into a situation that's unfamiliar, it brings about uncertainty, and that fight or flight response system gets fired off. So if you think about it, okay, if you go back thousands of years ago when we were living in small Stone Age tribes, or we were cave dwellers, the minute we stepped out of our cave, anything familiar represented safety and anything unfamiliar represented danger or possibly death. So you see, the way that we are, that part of the brain hasn't upgraded, it hasn't evolved. It still operates on that premise that familiarity is safety and unfamiliarity is danger or possibly death. This is like why we don't like getting out of our comfort zone. Anything that we do that is familiar is comfortable. Anything that is unfamiliar is uncomfortable. So if you take that and you understand those principles, you can see why we get into a place of stress and fear, because we've got this survival instinct that was brilliant when we were cave dwellers. We step out of the cave. If there's a saber-toothed tiger, we need to have that fight or flight response so that we can either run or fight it, or freeze so it moves past us. The problem is, in today's society, the world we live in today, that physiological response has become maladaptive. So if you think about it, whenever we get stressed or we get triggered into that fight or flight response, we go through some physiological changes. So what happens is your body dumps a load of adrenaline into your system, so your heart rate increases, so you can get away quickly. It dumps cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It shuts down your internal organs, shuts down your digestive system. This is why when we get nervous or scared, we need to go to the bathroom. Your blood coagulates and thickens, so if we get bitten by a tiger or we get bitten or injured, we're not going to bleed to death. The other thing that happens is your body dumps a load of acid into the bloodstream, so if we do get bitten, we don't taste good. Now that's all great if we're like, cave dwellers and we're kind of stepping out the cave and there's saber-toothed tigers, but today we haven't got that. So that is maladaptive. What that's doing is creating this extreme stress response in us that doesn't serve us. It doesn't help us. And I'm going to show you how to navigate that stuff as we go through this particular video, okay? So we need to understand that we're hardwired for survival and that we don't like uncertainty. We don't like unfamiliarity. So there's 4 things that we can do to navigate that and overcome that. So if you think about it, okay, there's really only two emotions. There's only like fear and there's love. Everything else is a subset of that. So when we're in fear, what we need is love and connection. Now you might be thinking, Akhtar, are you getting a bit woo-woo with me? No, hold on, just bear with me and I'm going to go into the psychology behind this, okay? So look, the first thing you need is connection. And what I mean by connection is that as entrepreneurs, it's really easy for us to hide behind our masks. We want to look good. We want to look infallible. We want to look like we're smashing it out of the park all the time. Well, let me tell you something. That's not how it is all the time. You know, it's really easy when you go on social media and you see people posting videos, you see them posting pictures, they're on holiday. They can look and appear like they've got the perfect life because that's all you're seeing. But what you're not seeing is what goes on behind the scenes. You're not seeing what goes on beneath the surface. I'm here today at my local marina and sometimes the swans like, you know, gliding around. There aren't any today, but when you look at a swan, it glides effortlessly through the water. And what you can't see is underneath the surface, its feet are paddling like mad. Well, that's what it's like in entrepreneurship. You know, it takes work, it takes commitment, it takes effort, it takes extra hours. Sometimes things don't go to plan. So I don't always bat it out of the park. You know, sometimes I have times where I have this great run. This particular, this year has been a challenging year for us. We started out great. We had COVID. It slowed everything down. It slowed down our refurb projects. It slowed down the growth of our business. It slowed down the commercial conversion that we've got. Everything has slowed down. It's delayed everything, which has just caused a lot of stress because we're not where we need to be. So that's sometimes the reality. And it's very easy. Like I've spoken to a lot of people who feel like they're failing. Well, let me tell you something. There is no such thing as failure, only feedback. You only fail if you quit. So we need to get out of that mindset of thinking that we're failing, we're not achieving stuff, or it's about us, okay? So let me get back to connection, right? Why is it important that we have connection? Because if you hide behind your masks, if you hide behind that I'm okay, everything's good, you kind of create this false prison that you're living in and it's not authentic. The problem with that is when you are showing the world that everything's great, but behind the scenes, it's not, you feel like, you know, you can't share that with other people because if you do, what happens is people become afraid of being judged. They feel they become afraid of being criticized. They feel afraid of being rejected or, you know, called stupid or whatever. The reality is we've all got sides of ourselves that are flawed, that don't work, they're insecure, whatever. That's just who we are as human beings. And there's a process that we go through to create that genuine connection, because without that genuine connection, you're always going to feel alone. You're always going to feel in fear. And when you can connect with people authentically and vulnerably, and you say, hey, this is me, this is what I've got going on right now, this is my challenges, and people accept you, then what that does is it allows you to feel that love and connection. I'm going to talk about the 6 deepest human needs, and one of them is love and connection. So the thing is, you might be thinking, well, okay, this might be a bit woo-woo, but actually, if you think about it, it doesn't matter where you are from, where you're born, what culture, what religion, what sex you are. If you're a human being, you're going to have 6 deepest human needs, okay? The first need is going to be for significance, and this is in no particular order. Tony Robbins talks about this, and so does Abraham Maslow in his hierarchy of needs. People need to feel important. They need to feel significant. The next thing is people need certainty, and I've explained already the psychology behind why that is. People also need the opposite of certainty, which is variety. You know, that makes life interesting, novelty, experiences, and so forth. Next thing people need is love and connection, okay? Then it's contribution, and then it's going to be down to growth. So these are all the 6 deepest needs that an individual has, and it doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. If you're a human being, you're going to have those needs. Now, those needs vary in terms of importance or hierarchy from individual to individual, but the key thing here is everybody's going to have a need for love or connection, okay? Depends on where you are. You know, the guys here might be going, well, I don't need love or whatever, but you still need connection, okay? It's the same kind of thing. So it's really important that we have that deeper sense of connection, because when you allow people to see who you are truthfully and you show a bit of vulnerability and authenticity, that creates the opportunity for people to see you for who you are. It also creates the opportunity for acceptance. And acceptance is the antidote for fear of being judged. So if you're worried about being judged and people accept you, all that fear dissipates. And then when you feel that sense of love and connection from people, all that fear and that stress starts to melt away. Now, this is one of the things that I do on a lot of the coaching calls inside our Reaching Excellence Academy. People turn up and I'm like, listen, you can drop your mask. We don't record the calls, you know, because we want people to turn up and be able to feel safe. They can share anything they want to, and it's in a confidential, safe space. And people do. And then they realize when they share something, they go, hey, this is not working out in my business, or I had an argument with my wife the other day, or my husband, or, I'm having this problem or whatever, then other people say, hey, look, I'm having the same problem, or I'm experiencing the same thing, or I experienced that last week. And then what happens is people feel that they're not alone. They feel like, oh, it's not just me going through this, or I'm not just it's not just me that's inadequate. I had a coaching call with one of my mentees, and she kind of had a bit of a tough week, and she came back to me. She said, look, I feel like I'm failing. I feel like everyone else has got their shit together and I haven't. And I said, that's not true. And I said, everything you're experiencing, there's other people in our academy that are experiencing the same thing. And I personally experienced something similar the previous week, because this is what it's like to be a human being, okay? And being an entrepreneur, trying to be top of your game, doesn't mean that every day we're going to be on top of our game. Some days we're going to be like the swan. We're going to glide through the water, but our feet are going to be paddling like mad, And the thing I said to her is, look, you got to think about it like, again, sailing metaphor here. I learned to sail back in 2005, and it was a great experience for me. But when I actually learned to navigate and actually to plot courses and stuff like that, what I realized is that when you're actually sailing, 95% of the time you're off course. So you have to check in where you're at and just get back on course correct, okay? So it's really important. The first step is you need connection. You need to kind of build that authentic, genuine connection with people. The second thing you're going to need is you're going to need wise counsel, okay? You need the right kind of counsel, because a lot of the time, and a lot of the stresses that I'm seeing people have right now is because they're uncertain. They don't know what's going to happen. They can't see what the next step is going to be. They can't see how their business is going to unfold. They can't see when the next bit of money's coming in, or the next project, or whatever. And that's creating that fear and that uncertainty. And one of the things that happens is, in that space, sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and we can't see what we can't see. So it's important at that point where you share stuff with people, you share it and ask for advice from people who've got the wisdom, the experience, the knowledge to help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. The difference between counsel and advice is sometimes when people give you advice, they might be well-intentioned and they mean well, but if they haven't got the experience, then sometimes what they're doing is telling you what they would do if they were in your shoes. And sometimes they might not have all the information, or they might not have all the information from you. So it's kind of like what's the word? It's kind of like it's a guess, really. Okay. So when you're speaking to someone who's got the maturity, the wisdom, the experience, someone like, a wise friend, someone like, a coach, a mentor, someone who is a peer who's done it already, they've got the insights, and they've probably navigated that problem before. So they can say, here's how I overcame it. Here's what you might want to consider. So it's really important that you get wise counsel. Okay. The next thing that you're going to need to do is get yourself around the right kind of community, get yourself around the right kind of tribe, okay? Because when you're striving for more, if you're an entrepreneur and you're striving for more, okay, you need to be around and you need to rally around the right kind of people who get you, who understand what your objectives are, and who also understand what kind of challenges that you're going to go through, and they can support you, they can encourage you, they can lift you up, and they can help you to get across the line. When you haven't got that right kind of community or that right kind of tribe around you, if you've got people around you that don't understand your mission, your purpose, and what you're aiming for, the problem you're going to have is they're going to start questioning you. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing property? Why are you doing business? Isn't it risky right now? And the thing is, they might be valid questions that they have, but what those questions will do is to plant the seed of doubt in your mind, and it will slow you down. So it's essential that you get around the right kind of tribe, the right kind of community, people who are trying to do what you're doing, or people who are doing and succeeding at what it is that you want to achieve, because they're going to keep you on track. They're going to keep you and from going off track, and they're going to help you to course correct. So this is really, really important, okay? The second thing is you want to be careful about who you've got around you, because if you are trying to level up your life, you're trying to level up your business, and you've got people around you who don't get what you're doing, it's really easy for you to kind of get caught out by crab mentality. So what do I mean by crab mentality? Well, if you put a load of crabs in a bucket and one tries to climb out, the other crabs try to pull it back in. And if it keeps trying to escape, they'll end up like breaking its arms and legs. It's a funny phenomenon. But human beings can do the same. And I want to explain the psychology behind this, because whenever you try to level up, if you're part of a group, it can be anything. You could be a relationship, it could be your family, it could be part of another community that you're in. The minute you try to level yourself up and like raise yourself, or raise your standards, or raise your wealth, the quality of your life, what happens is sometimes people will feel insecure about that, because when you aim to do more, it kind of puts a spotlight on those people. It kind of highlights their shortcomings, their inadequacies, where they're at. So this is a very unconscious thing. So people can sometimes dissuade you. Why do you want to do that for? That's crazy. That's for losers. They will kind of mock what you're trying to do, or hold you back. And this is a very unconscious thing. Okay. So this sometimes happens because of insecurity. The other time it happens is because of group dynamics and group survival. So if you've got a group of people, if one person looks like they might leave the group, it threatens the existence of the group. It's a tribal thing. It's deeply wired within us. So people will unconsciously sabotage you without realizing it. So it's so important that you get yourself around the right kind of people, the right kind of tribe, people who understand your objectives, understand your challenges, people who can support you and keep you on track and uplift you. So that's that's what you're going to need is community. And the final thing you're going to need is to collaborate with people. Now, I'm blessed. I've got an amazing team of people that have been working with me. I don't say they work for me because they work with me. They're I see them as like equal people in my organization, and they all play a specific role. And me giving them the freedom to, be their best, they come up with kind of ideas, plans, solutions as to how we can grow the Reaching Excellence business. So you want to be collaborating with people, whether that is with people who can help you in your business, help you with what you want to do, freelancers, outsourcers, that kind of stuff, VAs. But also, if you are looking to grow your business, it might be that there's an opportunity for you to collaborate with someone else. Bring your skills together, bring your resources together, provide value for each other. Because I think right now, with where we're at in this kind of climate, collaboration is going to work better than competition. I'm not a big fan of competition. I think it's a good thing to collaborate with people. We're all in this. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. We're all kind of moving forwards. And when you've got the right kind of people who are aligned to your values, who are on the same page that you can collaborate with and work with, it makes life a lot easier. Okay. So guys, look, those are my 4 tips. So the first thing is going to be connect with people, like proper, authentic connection, because that's going to help you to overcome a lot of the stress. Second thing is going to be seek wise counsel from people who've been there and done it. It can help you to move forwards. Third thing is be part of the right kind of community and tribe. Fourth thing is going to be about collaboration. And the final thing I want to say to you guys is you really navigate uncertainty. There's been so many times in my life, whether it's business or personal, I've got to this point where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I can't see the answer. I can't see the solution. And of course, caveman mind, the amygdala is going to kick in and want to make you panic. But actually, if you sit there and you have trust in the process and you have faith, what I mean by faith is I'm not talking about religion here. When I say faith, what I'm talking about is having faith that even though you don't know what the next steps are or how something is going to work out, it's having an expectation that everything's going to work out in the end and you're going to succeed. So when I see people at this point where they don't know what's next, they're out their comfort zone, they've got gaps in their knowledge or skill or understanding around things, and it's bringing all those feelings of stress and anxiety up to the surface, I just say to them, hold on, because on the other side of this, there's a gift, there's a blessing, or there's all the things that you want on the other side. So you need to trust in the process, but you also need to have faith and an expectation that whatever happens, you're going to be all right. So you need to have a bit of a mindset where you play to win and not play to lose. And let me make a distinction about that. Playing to win is when you're focusing on what you want to have happen, right? Playing not to lose is when you're kind of trying to do damage limitation. So there's a load of people right now that are focusing on what the media is saying, what the masses are saying. They're buying into that massive belief system of doom and gloom. And of course, they're now thinking, well, shit, it's all going wrong. I need to play not to lose. I need to batten down the hatches. I need to minimize everything. Now, although there's some of that is going to be useful to do, you're going to get what you focus on. So you might as well focus on what you want. And right now, even though we're going through this second lockdown, there is still a mass of opportunity, okay? I personally am gearing up with my marketing systems to gear up and do more motivated seller deals. There's going to be more motivated sellers out there because of the current climate that we're in. Things are slowing down. The property market is slowing down in places. There's challenges with landlords trying to rent properties out and stuff like that. There is always an opportunity. If you focus on the opportunity, guess what? That's what you're going to find. I think Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're probably right. So you might as well choose to believe that there's opportunities out there, because there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's basically your mind's inbuilt radar. Whatever you believe, it will find an opportunity for. So if you see that there's opportunities right now, if you believe that there's opportunities, you're going to start to see them. So even though we're going through this very difficult time, it's going to be uncertain for a lot of people. Focus on the opportunities that are out there. There's still a ton of opportunities out there to be made. Okay. Warren Buffett says, he's the 4th richest man in the world. Okay. Warren Buffett says, when people become fearful, he says, when people become greedy, become fearful, and when people become fearful, become greedy. So now is the time to become greedy. And he's the guy that says, he hopes there's more recessions. Why is that? because when there's a recession, there's always the greatest transference of wealth because of all the fear, all the selling, all the panic stuff. And from a property point of view, there's always more repossessions that happen during a recession. There's always more motivated sellers, which means you can find deals with bigger discounts, or you can do creative deals on better terms. Okay. So guys, look, I hope this video has helped you. Please like, subscribe, and comment below this video. Look, there's probably someone out there that's going to really benefit from hearing this video. So please share this. Okay. Share it with anyone who needs it, and hopefully that will help them. So I'm going to sign off, guys, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.